Hi, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome on behalf of Servium to the next in our series of INOOT. I need one of those. This is our webinar series, which is there to sort of inform you as our customers about trends in the marketplace, what's happening, what's groundbreaking, what is the disruptive technology, and what can deliver value, because we're all about creating great experiences at Servium. So welcome, my name is Steve Dawes. I'm the Services Director here at Servium. Just for the benefit of everyone joining, there'll be a recording of the webinar when we're finished, and also you'll be able to ask questions later on. So today we're hosting the event in London, so off-site for the first time at HP's London offices, and we're sort of joined by Simon from HP this morning. So Simon, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
So this is the first time I've done this in a room together, so it's a bit sort of DJ-esque, but more importantly, what's today important for, the 5th of July? Well, here's some historic facts for you. So 1865, the US Secret Service began operating under the Treasury Department. 1954, BBC broadcast its first television news bulletin. For James Bond fans, 1973, Live and Let Die was premiered. More interestingly, with recent trends, 1994, Amazon.com was founded. And for anyone who's got an interest in politics, remember Tony Blair, Ewan Blair's oldest son, was arrested on this day in 2000 for being drunk and lying on the ground in Leicester Square. So, but to us, it's all about INOOT, and today it's about Windows 7 end of life, particularly in relation to HP and what they have to offer. So it's something that is very topical at the moment, hence our desire to run this webinar for you. So for those who don't really know Servium, really just a little bit of background on who we are. As I mentioned before, we're all about creating great experiences, putting customers at the center of everything we do, understanding what your challenge is. And we do that really by offering really good account management, understanding your challenges, giving really good customer services, and being really responsible, nimble, and agile. I think that's what really makes us stand out from the crowd. Our approach, very much, whatever your challenge is, no matter how small, how large, really is to work with you on the strategy, help you around the design, help with implementation, and support you post-implementation. But probably the most important thing to us is once we've delivered a project for you, is reviewing, making sure that we've delivered on time, within budget, and within expectations. So that's a really key part of anything we do. To do that and to achieve that, we have our services ecosystem, again, something we're very proud of, which is a best of breed capability that you as our customers have access to help deliver whatever the challenge is. So today, Simon, I'm going to hand over to you, because this really focuses on the workspace part of our value proposition, the Servium Pathfinder. So Windows 7 end of life.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So my name is Simon Barno. I am a business development manager here at HP. And today I have the absolute pleasure of guiding you through the Windows 7 end of service and how HP and our security stack can actually help bring your customers forward into Windows 10 and our security in there as well. So a little bit about HP. We didn't start off making PCs straight off the bat. We actually started off in 1939 by Bill Hewitt and Dave Packard. We started off in a shed in Palo Alto, and our startup capital was only $538. And what was really interesting for us is that as a very small company in Palo Alto, we created our very first product, which was the 200 Oscillator A. What that was a device that created stereo audio in cinemas. And our very first partner was Walt Disney. Walt Disney at the time was bringing out a film called Fantasia. And if you've watched that in the past, it's all about the theatrical of the colors and sounds. And with HP and the partnership that we had, it was a success. The beautiful thing that we still maintain is our ethos around building our workforce up and allowing them to go away and create their own businesses. And that's what we ended up doing back in 1939. Steve Wozniak actually had a summer internship at HP, and he was one of the founding fathers of Apple. And from this, pretty much Silicon Valley was born. But more importantly, Windows 7 end of service. If your customers are not aware, then January 14th is quite a substantial date. From this date, Windows will not be making any more security patches for Windows 7. It's literally going to be the last date. There's going to be no more extensions, and this is why we're here today, to hopefully guide you through into the process of bringing yourselves and your customers through to Windows 10. So January 14th, 2020 will be the last time that Windows 7 actually has any updates for it. So today I'm going to go through a few kind of facts and fictions around how Windows is actually bringing forward. And this can help your small businesses or your medium businesses bring over to Windows 10. So for this, it's going to be really a lot about security. And after the Windows 7 end of service, it's all about being on a non-supported platform. But with malware and antiviruses, people seem to be going more for the OS level, and everyone seems to be going for large businesses. A lot of people have almost like post-it notes or blue tack over the webcams because they're always feeling that they're going to be hacked from the webcam. My mum has a bit of sticky tape over her iPad because she's always afraid that someone's going to be spying in on her. And this is the same for businesses. But more importantly, big kind of hackers don't seem to be going for large corporations anymore. They seem to be going for mid-market and small businesses. And from this, actually 50% of small businesses and mid-market have actually suffered a data breach since 2017. Each one of those has cost on an average of $84,000 to actually get back into the working manner. And there was a Norwegian steel company who actually was hit by ransomware. They ignored it, and it cost them $42 million to actually get their business back online. And that affected over 70 countries that they were actually working in. So it's actually a really kind of poignant thing of making sure that your business is completely secure, not only from a device level, but also from an end user level as well. The end user is always you and me, and we're the ones that are going to be clicking on different links and making sure that things seem genuine, but we're the ones that make mistakes. And this can actually have a lasting impact onto a business. When we look at devices is actually a really key thing as well. 82% of ITDMs feel that the devices that they have is a clear reflection of their company. And a lot of them actually want to have newer devices because they feel proud about being in the company that they are, and you retain talent and you keep a business alive. But businesses seem to think that having newer devices is expensive, but in actual fact, having a 4-year-old device can actually cost 2 times more in repairs. When we have a look at this, maintaining and repairing those devices can cost up to a whopping £410 a year. And that's converted from about $520 at the time. And this is where, when you go to Windows 10, there is a plethora of devices that your businesses can choose from. As Windows continues to evolve, so does the devices that your customers can go with as well, and your end users. When you're having a new device, as we start to go into the Windows 10 platform, you actually have 4 times more productivity on a newer devices as things start to be faster and you have better battery life. Having downtime to actually recharge your laptop if you're on the move can actually cost you serious amounts of money as well. So what can HP help with this and making sure that you have a successful kind of transition to Windows 10, and how can we keep your businesses secure? Well, for us, every PC purchase has to be a security decision, because as I said earlier, more and more hackers are going away from an OS level attack and actually starting to attack the end users, you and me. And they're actually being a lot cleverer around with it as well. They're starting to hide malware within photos and documents and Office attach and PDFs and trying to gain access into that way. And having the latest devices with the security that we can offer you can help and maintain your business's strive for longer. So for us, we have something quite integral into our devices, and these are available on our ProBook 600 and above, all the way through to our EliteBook, and even within our Elite Desk and ProDesk series as well. So this is a small chip that we have within our EliteBook series, and it's physically isolated actually on the motherboard, but more importantly, it's cryptographically secured. So it runs 3 of our main hardware for security. So that's HP SureStart, which is the world's first and only self-healing BIOS, our Sure Run to make sure that your antivirus and your malware protection remains active, and our Sure Recover. And Sure Recover is really key. If you do get hit by a OS level attack, how long is it going to take you to actually get your business back up and running, and how much is it going to cost? And with HP Sure Recover, you can actually get back onto your feet in under 90 minutes. So Sure Start. It's actually the one thing that makes sure that every time that you boot on your PC, make sure that you are secure. So there's 2 versions of the BIOS sitting within our PCs. And one is the golden version that sits within our endpoint security controller, and the other one that you use every time. Every time that you boot onto your PC, it makes sure that you are using a genuine version of your BIOS and nothing has been changed. Even if the BIOS has been changed while you are in boot and you're running in Windows, when it comes to restarting your machine, it's going to make sure that you are using the clean, genuine version of your BIOS. And if you think of a BIOS as the foundation to your building, your structure, it's the skeleton that everything kind of gets held within. It's a really integral part of making sure that your PCs remain secure. In fact, even the National Cyber Security Center actually recommends using a self-recovery for a BIOS as part of their guidance when it comes to the Windows 10 1803 update. And we'll continue to be able to make sure that you are using the most secure version of both Windows 10 and your BIOS in there too. And I've included the link in to make sure that if you then want to look into this a little bit further, you can do so. Sure Run. Sure Run is actually kind of key as well. For managed IT systems, this actually is really important. As you can see in the video that we have here, we're running a malware. And this is trying to deactivate our antivirus and our firewall. If the malware tries to deactivate, you'll see in the little pop-up box here that it's saying that it's tried to be deactivated, but Sure Run has made sure that it then gets turned back on. If this then becomes a regular occurrence and it's trying to attack your firewall or your antivirus, what Sure Run will actually do is deactivate you from your local network if you're running at home or even if you're in the office, and then advises you to go see your IT support because there's clearly a problem with the device. So even though that you're booting in and making sure that you're secure, if you continues to be attacked, we're going to make sure that you're able to then get back into play in a short amount of time. These 2 things are actually quite important for us as well, because as I said at the start, end users are all the ones that are being attacked, and we're the ones that make the mistakes. SureClick can actually help with you with this. So 2 out of 3 of successful network penetrations come from malicious email attachments. And SureClick is able to protect you against PDFs, photographs, Office attachments. And as long as it's still within its protection enabled, what it will do is actually have it as a self-contained bubble. And we're even able to bring this into Edge, Google Chrome, Chromium, Internet Explorer, to make sure that you have a browser that's also secure. If you then are attacked by a ransomware malware like WannaCry, and WannaCry took down 150,000 machines in only 4 days, and it will almost prompt you to then pay them almost like $300 in Bitcoin to make sure that you can then get back up and running. What SureClick is able to do that is every time you open a new browser within SureClick or open a photograph or Office document or even a PDF, is open it in a virtual machine. The malware is then thinking and it still has free access into your PC. when in fact it has no access at all. If you then get attacked by a malware like WannaCry, all you have to do is close the browser or the Office document if it's still within its protected view, and away it goes. It has no access into it. As long as it's coming from a trusted site or a trusted individual, you can then go into the options and deactivate the protection for it if you want to then edit any of your Office documents as well. Sure Recover. Sure Recover comes in two versions. We have it with and without the embedded imaging. And this is where you can actually have a custom version of your OS onto our endpoint security controller. And we are now protecting virtually everything that's not the hard drive in your PC. So if you do get hit by an OS level attack within Windows 10, the beautiful thing with Sure Recover is we can get you back up and running in no time. And this is fantastic for managed and unmanaged businesses up to 2,000 people, because the great thing is, if you are using the embedded re-imaging, even if you don't have the same hard drive and you put in a brand new hard drive, we can get you back up and running in less than 90 minutes. If you don't have it with embedded imaging, the only difference really is you would need to go back onto your company network with a LAN cable and then download either the custom OS or the factory version of the OS back onto the machine. This allows you to have minimal downtime if you are being hit by a wide-scale attack. The kind of scary thing that we see with businesses is that 68% of organizations don't reliably apply or audit their security policies. And when it comes to the end user, we almost ignore the security policies that get laid out in front of us. What HP can actually offer you is our manageability integration kit. And our Gen 2 is the first and only Microsoft certified plugin for an SCCM platform. What this is able to do is you're able to then customize how many devices that you have in a specific group. And then with all of the security platforms that we've just gone through, you can actually then customize that for those specific groups as well. So you can then throw out updates for both the security and the Windows updates all in one go if you want to, making sure that your end users are using the most secure platform that you can possibly give them. In short, we have pretty much 5 almost layers of security, as you will, that we can bring into our platforms. And we've gone through 4 of these already. Sure View is another option that we can actually have as part of our platform. We're going to be starting to bring this into our monitors as well towards the end of this year. And this is fantastic. If you're a mobile workforce, Sure View allows you to be able to work in and around no matter where you are. If you want to work in a coffee shop, then that can be your office as well. The scary thing with visual hacking is that 92% of visual hacks are successful, with 53% of them actually being able to articulate sensitive information. And what we don't want to do with GDPR is then go through the process of announcing that you've been either visually hacked or hacked in any way. And with Sure View, you can actually, by a simple press of the button, have an integrated privacy screen in there too. However, I kind of want to finish on something that's brand new for us, something that is going to be coming to our systems very, very shortly. And this is our 6th layer of security that we're bringing to our platform. And we're calling this HP SureSense. This, for the very first time, we're bringing a deep learning AI, which has never been seen before, for having real-time prevention for day 0 malware attacks. This is going to be very crucial to businesses moving forward. So how does this work? Well, there's three different ways that you can protect your PCs and your business. You can use your traditional antivirus, and that will use then a traditional database. However, every 4.2 seconds, a new piece of malware comes to market. That means that you're forever updating your antivirus to make sure that you're always protected. And what this will do is going to bring you a time frame where you're not protected. The other alternative is machine learning. And machine learning is fantastic if you're showing a machine the same piece of information every single time. The only problem that would be is if it's something that it doesn't know, then you're still going to be unprotected. And you're still going to be having to have constant updates for that as well. which is why we're using a deep learning AI. This is being tested with a company called Deep Instinct, and we've been working with them for a little bit on this now. And this is able to almost identify known and unknown malware, making sure that you are going to be constantly protected against the threats of a modern day and even tomorrow. Now, the beautiful thing with this is we've been able to distill this from terabytes of data that we've been kind of feeding our neural network and bringing this into our brand new 800 G6 models in a very small agent. And we're going to be releasing this a little bit later on. However, thank you very much for spending some time with me going through the Windows 7 end of service and how HP can support you.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for that, Sam. They're really, really useful information. I think, from our understanding, our experience, that security is probably number one topic on people's minds when it comes to the sort of desire and need to move to Windows 10.
Yep.
And it is day in day coming into conversations, particularly post GDPR.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Sam. That great insight into how HP are approaching not just Windows 10, because everyone knows that come 15th of January, that's it. No more updates. But I think certainly your approach on security is quite unique in the marketplace. So we're opening the floor now to 20 questions. So you should see a question box at the bottom of your screen. So if you feel free to answer questions, and then Simon will answer those for you. So got a question there from David. If you swap the hard drive and there's no operating system, how do you plug that into the network and download the image?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you, David. With our Sure Recover, there's two versions. So if you have the Sure Recover with re-imaging, the OS for either custom or stock will actually be part of the endpoint security controller. So even with a brand new hard drive, with Sure Start and Sure Recover working in the same tangent, it's able to then reinstalize the operating system back onto a brand new hard drive. If you don't have a hard drive, when we still have the Sure Recover as part of the platform, it's able to then locate the network throughout the BIOS and actually download the custom build either directly from HP servers or from your own, which can be managed on your back end as well. Okay,
great. I hope that answered that for you, David. Another question from Alan. Why should I get a new device? Can't I just upgrade to Windows 10 on my current PCs?
That is a great question, Alan. You can. The problem with upgrading current devices, if they are more than 4 years old, then there's always going to be a downtime in productivity. Upgrading a device from even Windows XP or Windows 7 can actually then cause you to be without a device. It also then highlights that maintaining this is actually a costly endeavor as well. When I said earlier that 82% of ITDMs actually feel that the technology that they're carrying around with them, seeing their customers, is a true reflection of their business. So if you're updating 4 or 5 year old devices, they're starting to look, they're not the most attractive ones anymore. They're slightly thicker and they're a little bit weathered. And if you're not kind of loving the device, then it's almost, how do you feel about it? But you can do that definitely as an option.
Okay, thanks. Question from Ian. Obviously, there's different versions of Windows 10. So from a business perspective, what is the right version for me? Okay,
there's 2 or 3 versions of Windows 10 out on the market. There's Windows 10 for workstations or Pro or Enterprise. If you are requiring a volume license, then Windows 10 Enterprise is the right version for you. So if you're scaling above, I'd say 500 to 2,000, 3,000 plus customers or devices, then a volume license is the version that you want to go for. If you're an SMB or a smaller customer, then Windows 10 Pro, is still going to be fantastic for you, and both offer fantastic securities like BitLocker encryption. So if you want to then be totally secure, even before you get to a BIOS, you can then plug in a USB key to make sure that you run your laptop. And if you're really security conscious, then Enterprise is going to be the greatest one for you.
Okay. Thanks, Simon. And I think it's a final question from Russell. I really like using Windows 7. Can't I just use third-party patches to keep it secure?
There are third-party patches available. The problem with third-party patches to extend the life of, say, Windows 7 is that you don't actually know what's in those third-party patches. And with security being the forefront of moving forward into Windows 10, and Windows 10 is the most secure version of Windows to date. There's going to be no other versions of Windows. They're doubling down and making sure that, you know, future updates are every 6 months, and you're making sure that you are the most secure that you can possibly can be. Now, there's always going to be people who love Windows 7. We still see this with XP. Everyone still holds a candle to that.
We do.
we do love Windows XP. And like I said, the problem with third-party apps and having something that's managed in an IT kind of platform is you don't know exactly what's in there, and that could be holding a backdoor into your business. Whereas if it's coming from a trusted site, you're always going to be protected, and it's just from a security point of view. Upgrading to Windows 10 and it's the right version. We're going to have to take the hit on it at some point. We might as well take the pain now and move forward. The beautiful thing is 99% of all of the applications that end users are using in Windows 7 is compatible with Windows 10. And if you're worried about the compatibility between 7 and 10, there is a great website that Microsoft have. It's readyforwindows.com. And you can make sure that if you do want to then go in through the transition from 7 to 10, you can make sure that everything is up and running before you then go and take that hit.
Okay, that's great. We've got a similar sort of question from Richard as well. So hopefully, Richard, that's answered that, which was his question. Is there a way to protect Windows 7 for longer? So hopefully that's covered that off as well for you, Richard. So another question, actually. Well, they're coming in thick and fast, so that's brilliant. So HP security then, Windows 7 end of service. So again, a question there from David is, you know, Windows 7 will have some additional sort of production until transfer to Windows 10. So what's your thoughts on that question from another question from David then?
It always goes hand in hand. And I think for us moving forwards, you know, the two have to be with security. Even Windows 10 is all about being the most secure platform. And they're even taking big strides into making sure that even the Windows Edge browser is using a sandbox, which is very similar to how we're doing with our SureClick, and the two together can actually be part of that. We're working very closely with Microsoft and Intel as a platform, so below the OS and above the OS. It's always going to be questions around having devices that are almost antique. And there's always going to be almost vulnerabilities into an OS if it's no longer supported. And what we can do together is to make sure that when you do transition to Windows 10 and you're going for a modern device, is that you're going to be maintaining those actually a lot less, but you're going to be holding on to your workforce a lot longer. And the two kind of go hand in hand with that. There's always going to be, you know, for a OS change, kind of almost resistance, because it is a costly output. And with the two being highlighted with a security point of view, because that's what is the big focus for Microsoft and ourselves, it's a poignant time for us.
Okay.
But I completely understand the question from David.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hopefully, Dave, that's covered that up. And if anyone does have any more questions, then by all means get in touch with your account manager or drop me a mail. If you need to go in a little bit more detail, then again we're more than happy to take that offline with anyone with any specific questions. So I'd just really like to thank Simon for taking the time out today. I'm just going to launch a poll now, because just while I summarise and close, it's really important for us that we get feedback from you as our customers on our webinar series. It's something that's very important to us, that we get this right and we fine tune it. Today is number 13, believe it or not, so we thought we were going to be spooked in the overall webinar series. So we've not had any technical hitches so far. So if you wouldn't mind completing the poll, really appreciate that. Just an interesting thing as well that some discussions we've been having on some research recently. This ties in nicely to our next webinar on Friday the 19th, but that's all around HP Device as a Service and how people are using that with the Tech Pulse analytics as a way of cost-effectively migrating to Windows 10. So just for the benefit of everyone here today, the next one, Friday the 19th at 10 o'clock on HP Device as a Service, and a little bit deep dive into their Tech Pulse analytics. So really appreciate everyone joining us today. We've had a really good audience, some good questions, which is good. It's always nice to put our subject matter expert on the spot. So thanks for taking those questions, Sam. I really appreciate that. So as I mentioned, there'll be an email coming out this afternoon with details of the recording of the webinar. So again, you can share that with your colleagues. So keep your eye out for that in your inbox this afternoon. And also, in a couple of weeks' time, the webinar will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel. So again, sort of recommend subscribing to that, because there's lots of historic content there, and all our new content like these get uploaded on a regular basis. So feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So once again, Simon, thank you. First time hosting it on site here in HP in London. And I must admit, we've had no problems with the fire service or emergency service behind us like we had earlier on this morning. Been quite noisy, so that's good news as well. So everyone, thank you for joining. Hopefully you found that of use, and enjoy the rest of your Friday. Thank you, everyone.